typhoon slammed into the Philippines at 4:30 a.m. Friday morning with winds of 195 miles per hour and gusts of 235 miles an hour. That's higher than the winds from Hurricane Sandy and Katrina combined.
With a death toll of 6,300 and with 4.1 million displaced by the typhoon, Typhoon Haiyan made history. The horrific path of destruction prompted an international outpouring of aid. The United States sent an aircraft carrier and assisted in evacuating residents of Tacloban, a city that had been leveled by a 25-foot storm surge.
Well, watching it unfold on TV is like terrifying. Luckily, my parents live up north, and during that typhoon, tsunami or whatever, I cried when I was watching TV because the utter devastation was just like surreal. So I cried. I felt for my country folk.
The Filipino American community of the Shenandoah Valley joined in the relief effort by taking up donations for those affected, which included families of those who live in the valley. Unfortunately, natural disasters like Haiyan are nothing new for Filipinos.
Typhoon here in the States is like a rain back in my province. That's why whenever they say that there's a typhoon coming, I'm not worried. Because typhoon here in the States, just like what I said, it's just a rain in the Philippines. You know, yeah, it's when you see it when you were young, you kind of get used to it, and you know already what to do when typhoon comes.
During the 20th century, storms, floods, earthquakes, and volcanoes killed over 47,000 Filipinos. On average, the Philippines has per year 20 typhoons, 22 active volcanoes, and 887 earthquakes.
I remember that, I still remember also about the greatest earthquake when I was there. I think, I'm still young, I don't remember, but I think it's intensity 7. Yeah, and at the time I'll be in like a seashore getting some shells, something like that, and when the earthquake came, I just lay on the sand, and it's very, very scary.
The Philippines straddles multiple shifting tectonic plates on the edge of the Ring of Fire. Tropical storms brew in the Pacific and roll over the islands regularly. Between 1970 and 2000, the Philippines incurred an average annual direct damage of 15 billion pesos per year because of natural disasters. But the real cost can only be told by those who lived through a natural disaster.
1991, that was November 3. Worst typhoon. It's floods, like almost 15,000 died. The town where I live, and the worst ever feeling I've had that I have my first cousin died on the time, but we never see her. Even the dead body, we did not found it. So my father at the time is he cried, said like, I don't know, he came back from his work, like the water, the water is on my, like the window. All the woods, the trees, floating everywhere, and said even the rice, like we didn't know where are we going, so where are we going on the top of the roof because we are surrounded with water. And so I think the starts of the flood, it starts like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the water goes down like 3 o'clock. So we have no food because we stay only on the roof. We have no rice. We don't know. So what we do is we drink a dirty water so we can survive on that day until the next day.
Before Typhoon Haiyan, Tropical Storm Thelma, known locally as Typhoon Uring, held the record as the deadliest storm in Philippine history. It killed 5,956 people on November 5th, 1991.
The time of that is my father. He said like, he's so lucky because the bus from the company he worked, he just passed and then the bridge is break. He said like, and what did he do is, so that he can go my house. So he's so worried. He cried and said, "What did you do?" It's tatay, and he said like, he swim. We just finished we didn't have no rice cooker. We have no rice cooker, and so we just only like wood that we get for cook the rice, and so we are hungry. Said like, "Where's the rice?" And said like, "The rice is a lot of dirty water now." my sister is so mad, and she said like, "What are you gonna eat? We are very dangerous on the time."
It isn't just the location of the Philippines that makes it vulnerable to destruction. Despite the frequency of natural disasters, or perhaps because of them, the Philippine government rarely makes disaster planning a priority. Poor infrastructure hampers rescue efforts, unsafe environmental practices in logging and mining deforest hillsides and contribute to landslides. Even if areas are deemed flood-prone and too dangerous to live, many of those in poverty have no choice but to live in places where no one else will. The frequency of natural disasters and their incredible toll on human lives and property is a significant reason why the Philippines' economic growth has been slow. For Filipino Americans, their families across the Pacific remain vulnerable to the whims of nature. Many of them live with first-hand experience of the danger that can come from living in the Philippines.
So at the time is the second day where the floods is of the examination of my sister when she was graduate her education. And so she's so lucky because she passed the board exam. Even, 100 miles going to big town, big city of the Leyte, because that is the venue of the board exam, is a lot of dead bodies everywhere. And so she's so lucky. She cried. Even at the time the flooding, she don't know what she gonna do. She said like, what we gonna do is just pray. And so we are Catholic. She found a rosary, and even the rosary, she don't know how to pray, because we are like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna die?